Okay, so hello everyone, and welcome to season 3 of OTalakayan, POT's online interview program, where we tackle different topics about OT and for mental health. Okay, I think Kix, you're muted. Okay, so while waiting, last time we had an episode about um yoga and movement. Oh, here it is. Nandiyan na si Kix. Okay, so
All
hi
right.
Kix.
Hi, everybody. Pardon, Zoom is having trouble right now.
Yeah, I
So,
can't hear you, Kix.
hello? Ayan, can you hear me na?
I think your audio is not working.
Hello? Ayan, hello? Hmm. Eto. Hello, can you hear me?
I
Hello?
can
Can,
hear you.
can you hear me? Okay ba? Wala? Oh,
Sige.
okay naman? All right. So, yeah, and hi everybody. I am Kix. I'm an OT and I'm one of the hosts for today, no? So, this episode was supposed to air last week on November 16, but due to the storm Ulysses which struck the country, we had to postpone the session to allow everyone to recover, diba? And it was a
Yeah.
terrible storm for a lot of us. Marami nawala ng kuryente, houses get washed away. And yeah, it was really a devastating experience for a lot of us. How were you during that time, Jeff?
Ako naman, Kicks, there was no flooding, no, but the wind that time was very strong. No, actually, when I was looking at our windows, no, akala ko bibigay na. No, and we actually did not have electricity for 5 days. No. So, yeah, kamusta kayo?
Ang tagal, 5 days. Yeah, here in my place, no, in Cavite, I guess we were lucky. There wasn't any flooding, but the wind really picked up, and it was really strong, no. I remember I woke up in the middle of the night, and alam mo yung parang it felt traumatic kasi parang there were gallons of water parang nagpo-pour sa roof natin, tapos talagang magigising ka. And we too lost electricity for quite some time, but I guess I believe, no, we were okay. Okay naman kami, yeah. But I guess I speak for a lot of us here in the session that watching the news, we can see a lot of people, they're not okay. No? And, this being not okay, it's a big part of 2020 for a lot of us. No, Sir Jeff?
Yeah, 2020 has been really tough kicks. No, from earthquakes, no, to COVID, no, and now typhoons. No, it seems overwhelming at times, but I know one day, no, all of this will be over and we can see each other again. Speaking of overwhelming, I guess our topic for this episode is very timely.
I agree. Because as we become more and more aware of the value of mental health, diba? When we look into Facebook, social media, Instagram, the thing that really gets my interest is people are posting about more about mental health, depression, that you're not alone. People are here with you. Ang dami nag-share about the value of mental health. And we realize that we need a different kind of healing from just meeting our physical needs during this pandemic period, which we can call a collective trauma, which, it means it's a deeply distressing or disturbing experiences that puts us off from the window of tolerance or puts us off from being okay. Diba? Lahat tayo nakaka-experience itong trauma. And I believe no, this is the perfect time for healing for a lot of us in terms of mental health. No, Sir Jeff?
Yeah, perfect time for healing. No? And maybe let us have a recap first of our first two episodes. No? So last November 9, Nikki joined us as we discussed movement and yoga as coping during uncertain times. So I actually did some of the poses na did by Nikki. Na ang sakit sa likod. Especially if you're not used to doing that kind
Yeah.
of exercise. No, but when I did it, the next day, parang it's ano na, parang a lot better, no, I guess. No, and it really helped relieve no, some of my aches, especially at the shoulders no, and the lower back, no, kahit konti. No?
Diba?
And truly, no, engaging in some physical activities can help us unwind and cope with difficulties and challenges around us. No? I remember that she was able to give us no, and the viewers some practical yoga poses which can be done even while sitting.
And that was really nice, no? Ang galing, no? Kasi nakuha ko doon, parang takeaway ko from that session was a yoga workout a day keeps the stress away from back pain to mental health. Ang daming na target talaga ng yoga kahit nakaupo lang. And last November 11, I can remember Celine, she shared to us the value of intimacy and relationships during this uncertain times. Nagbanggit pa nga siya ng OTPF4. Wow. And of course, how to fix our intimacy and relationships. I really pick up, no, nakuha ko doon na intimacy and relationships that we share, no matter how distant, kahit gaano kalayo, they can stay the same. And because they can
Yeah.
stay the same, they can be stable, they can be in fact a source of our mental stability. Or simply said, it's a source for us to become okay tayo. Ayun.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, all right. So for our third episode, we are going to talk about mindfulness. Kix, have you heard about mindfulness?
I did actually. I can recall I started reading more about mindfulness back in college when I was an intern, and right now it's becoming more and more relevant as a practitioner. From what I know about mindfulness, I believe it's being aware and conscious of what we're feeling and experiencing. I think mindfulness will be really helpful to keep us okay in these uncertain times because during this pandemic and the devastating storms that passed by, there have been a lot of changes that we've never experienced before. Like, not being able to go out, hindi na tayo nakita ng family and friends natin, which, di ba, important for our mental health. And for ourselves, I guess I speak for a lot then when I say na we're all worried about why we're not okay a lot of times. So I believe mindfulness can really help us for us to become okay during this pandemic period. So I'd like to know more about it, Sir Jeff.
Yeah, I think our resource speaker for this afternoon can tell us more about mindfulness no, as one way to actually cope no, this pandemic and during uncertain times. Maybe we can introduce now Karen to our audience.
Ayan. So our speaker for today is the founder of the online healing community, which is a wonderful community for shared healing and stillness, which, kailangan natin ngayong pandemic period. She is also the co-founder of Special Achievers and an occupational therapy consultant from the Able Center. May I introduce to you Miss Karen Anavaro. Good afternoon, Karen.
Hi, Jeff, and hi, Kix. Thank you for having me.
Yes, good afternoon, Karen. So we also have two student reactors now for this episode. Okay, so let us welcome on screen Gabriel and Anne, okay, OT interns from Cebu Doctors University. Hello, Gabriel and Anne.
Hello po. Good afternoon.
All right. Okay, so we shall call you again on screen for your reactions.
Thank you po.
Ayan, so as we move on to our discussion, before we start with our first question, I would like to invite the viewers and our attendees to please share their questions by sending a message to the questions crew through our Zoom chat or the YouTube channel, the YouTube chat, so we can ask them so we can forward them to our speaker. We'd love to have an open conversation with you, and we'd love to hear your wonderful thoughts so we can bring forth more understanding, no? So now let's go on to our first question, Karen. No? Actually, Karen, I want to say, no, looking at you, I just feel very relaxed. Parang nakita ko yung demeanor mo, you're just, you feel like a very relaxing person to talk
Yeah,
to. So,
there's that aura, no?
di ba, may ganong aura talaga kay Karen. Ayan. Ayan. So, naisip ko, no, I think mindfulness, it forms a big part of why you have this amazing aura with you. So, Karen, what can you tell us? What is mindfulness and how did you know about mindfulness?
Hi, Jeff, and hi, Kix. Kix, actually, you're correct when you say that mindfulness is simply awareness. It's being fully present in the now because people have this tendency to focus on what's the future or the past, like, oh, ano nangyari nung typhoon or ano nangyari nung baha, things like that. And also, anong kakainin ko mamaya, even if we're here in the Zoom meeting, your mind travels from one point to another. So the Buddhists call it a monkey mind because the mind keeps on hopping and hopping. But mindfulness is a practice of stillness, of just focusing on the now, focusing on the present. I actually talked to you guys a little earlier ago. I was thinking, and you guys were saying, oh, nga, I think it's best if like we get to practice it. So I was thinking also we have like reactors here. Can you tell me like a sentence related to COVID or typhoon? And that will tell us more how you how we're, how people are thinking. Though there's no right or wrong answer, ha. So while you're talking, thinking of just one sentence about the typhoon or COVID, right now, huwag kayo masyado mag-isip. Nag-iisip si Jeff. Can you give me a sentence?
Well, on the top of my head, the sentence that came to my mind is there would be a lot of changes, physically, emotionally, among our fellow men.
A lot of changes. Okay, thank you. How about you, Kix? Also, Ian and Gabriel, can you give me a sentence about COVID or typhoon? No thinking. Nag-isip ka, Kix. Wag masyado. Just on the top, just on top of your head. The first sentence that pops up.
Siguro, I guess the sentence that pops up, no, is it's demanding to adapt, no? Manghirap mag-adapt with rapid changes. I guess for us OTs, skill natin na mag-adapt, pero paano kaya yung people na hirap mag-adapt sa mga constantly changing demands that are happening, like loss of work. Ayan, di ba? Buong sentence. Pero mamaya na yan. Karen,
great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. How about Elle and Anne? Can you give me a sentence? Just on top of your head, ha? No filter.
Okay po. For me po, life is indeed very uncertain po. Like, we don't know what's gonna happen during like next week po, baka next month. So it's very uncertain po talaga.
All right. Thank you. How about you, Anne?
For me, COVID especially was very challenging, especially as a student or as an intern, because we were still learning the ropes of occupational therapy, and to have that routine disrupted creates a new challenging way for us to learn and adapt. Again, same with Sir Kix, in learning and becoming a better OT in the future.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing it to me, honestly. I'll share my screen because what I've been doing while you guys were talking, even during the intro, was I was just noting down all the sentences that you guys were saying. You're talking about I am not alone, I am okay, 2020 has been tough, it's demanding to adopt, it is overwhelming. And when you look at these are like thought patterns. If this is zero, if this is neutral, I'll just put N in this area. If this part is neutral, and this is above, and this is below, saan mas marami yung thoughts? Above or below neutral?
I am below.
Yeah.
So just to illustrate that, most of us think negative. The below kasi, these thoughts are wasteful. And I'm just it's good kasi if you guys, nothing wrong or bad with it. Like as Jeff and Kik said, yung mindfulness naman kasi is accepting where we are at the moment and accepting the present. So most of the thoughts are wasteful or negative. And this has been studied. Like if you check all the studies, 70% of the thoughts are either wasteful or negative. And very few, 30% yung I am okay, you are not alone, which is positive. So because a lot of the thoughts are wasteful and negative, what happens is a lot of us are stressed and a lot of us are anxious. So what you want to do is shift, look at, be aware of what you're feeling and what you're thinking, and then you shift that thought. Actually, I've learned this for 11 years. I'm a practicing meditation student, and then eventually became a meditation teacher for the past 11 years. And every year, I've been going to India for 2 weeks to practice meditation and to learn from what they call gurus or meditation teachers in India. So it's really a practice, but it's not something that was easy for me also. Like you guys, your answers, that was my answer. I was thinking 70% of my thought patterns are negative before. But when I learned this, I was thinking, pwede palang i-shift yung thoughts. So guys, ayan, nag-workshop. Kasi I was thinking it's kind of easy to talk about it. I mean, people talk about it. You know what? You're thinking negative most of the time, but sometimes people don't get it. Na it's real. Most of yes, it's not just like shifting it. That's how you usually think. That's how normal people think. Na kasi that's how we're wired because that helps protect us eh. Lalo na mga therapists, di ba? We're taught to analyze activities. We're also taught how things can go wrong. So it's important for us because it will help us prepare. But sometimes it's too much that it affects also our state of mind, like you guys said, mental health. So given this, I'll go back to your sentence. Can you shift it? Can you try? Like it's demanding to adapt. How do you shift that? Make it positive. Like a friend of mine was saying, so this is neutral, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you, and this is, diba? Positive.
Wow, yung wording na ano.
This is positive and this one is pure.
Uh-huh.
When you say, like when you look at it, what is the difference between positive and pure? It's just the intensity. Positive, you feel good about yourself. Pure is when you make others feel good also. You are not alone. You amplify that message. For example, if you say it is demanding to adopt, how do you change that into positive or pure? Or just positive?
I can adapt, I guess.
Yeah, see? But do you see the energy of that? If you say it's demanding to adapt and then I can adapt. But it's different from toxic positivity because toxic positivity sometimes, diba? Parang even if it's difficult, you just say, kaya ko to, kaya ko to. You don't acknowledge. So the thing here is you acknowledge first, yes, it is demanding to adapt. But yeah, how can I shift it? How can I shift it? Okay, I can look for ways to help me adapt. And this is very, very simple. But I've been practicing this for the last 11 years. How to shift my thoughts. Because all the time you are thinking. A normal person thinks 50,000 to 60,000 thoughts for a whole day. That's a lot of thoughts. And if you focus on wasteful and negative thoughts, that's a foundation for your life. So you will probably have a wasteful or negative life. And if you look at it, a senior friend tells me, every thought has number, Karen. It's either a negative one, or for negative, it's a -2. This is a -1. This is 0, if you look at it. This is +1, and this is +2. If you look at it that way, if you see that every thought has a numerical value, so what does that mean? So you're living a negative life, right? -+1, negative life. If you keep on thinking of wasteful or negative thoughts. So with mindfulness, what you want to do is acknowledge it. okay, it's demanding to adopt, and sometimes give your time self space to acknowledge that, but then learn to shift it. Like Jeff was saying earlier, all of his sentences were neutral. Eh. Pero somebody said, I am not okay, or some people are not okay. So, di ba?
Mhm.
How do you shift it? I am okay. How about I can't go out? How do you shift I can't go out?
Well, for me, yeah, parang I think I can make it neutral. Like I can try going out. Like
Yeah,
there's an attempt to do it.
yeah, I can try going out. So it's that. Um, it's really being mindful of how you're thinking. But the thing is, social media right now, and all of us now are in social media, especially during the pandemic, teaches us to keep on scrolling and not minding. Like all of us have become robots, just scrolling and scrolling and not taking time to think of what you're thinking. Like I was talking to you, even moving your negative to neutral, di ba, kailangan mag-isip? Parang,
Mm.
I think it's, you need that second to time to think of your answer and time to be still for you to for you to shift that. And sometimes a lot of us have been sobrang making our lives super busy, even if it's unnecessarily. So we don't have the time to sit down,
Mm.
to look at how we're feeling, to look at what we're thinking, and then shift, and then
Mhm.
shift and shift and shift. Because when you do that, if you're constantly shifting your thoughts,
Yeah.
shifting your feelings, then you're living a mindful life.
Mm.
Most of us are on autopilot right now. Like
Mm.
I was checking social media, people say that the first thing they do is check their Instagram or Facebook. And the last thing they do, lalo na in the Philippines now, check Instagram and social media. So imagine, what are the last thoughts on your mind? What are the first thoughts on your mind?
Mm.
So yeah, it's really being mindful of what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and then staying in the present. That's what mindfulness is.
Yeah, Karen, I actually agree with what you said about acknowledging what we think, what we feel about what's happening on us and around us. I remember there was one time, or actually several times during the pandemic, that I would be so hyper focused on work, doing papers, doing other work-related stuff to the point that I sometimes deny that I'm already tired, that I want to rest na muna. No, but yeah, I think acknowledging that I'm already tired, I need a rest. No, parang it helped me to actually get back to what I need to do, to be more functional, to feel better. No, so I think during those times, I was already doing mindfulness. Tama ba?
Yeah, and that's a good point that you said, Jeff. It's not really just sitting down and meditating, closing your eyes and doing the Buddha pose. It's like every time you're in a space where you acknowledge what you're thinking and what you're feeling, you are being mindful. Every time you come from a space of peace, even when you're talking and you're communicating, you are being mindful. So it helps if you start the day with a certain practice like a meditation or prayer. But every time you come from a certain space and every time you take time to reflect, that's being mindful already.
Wow. You know, Sir Jeff, napansin ko, no, while she's making us more aware about what we're feeling, I feel na yung aura niya, it's parang from the screen, it's like, pumapasok sa atin. And I think sa viewers din natin, no? And being aware, it's a big part of yun nga, healing for during these times of trouble. And siguro what came to my mind during your discussion was, di ba, may binibilang tayo para may quantity na ito yung negative, ito yung positives, may neutral in between. No? Uh, an interesting thought that came to my mind is positivity helps, but toxic positivity does not. No? And the difference, I love yung thought mo eh, the difference between those two is our ability to accept, no, if we are not accepting how we're feeling, if we're not, parang giving value to not what we're feeling, and we're just being positive Tama ba ako, Miss Karen? That's just being toxic positivity?
Yeah. That's correct. Initially, when I was new to meditating gigs, I was like a toxic positive person. Like even if I don't feel calm about certain things, like I would agree to people because he said, I have to be peaceful. I feel kasi na if I'm a meditator, I always have to be peaceful at times, even if I don't agree with someone. So I say, yeah, it's okay. I would always say yes and for the sake of peace. And I was not acknowledging na parang, oh my gosh, I don't like it. No! Like, I don't agree. But I was thinking, no, I have to be peaceful. So I'll say yes. And that's really toxic positivity. I've been doing that for years. Like 4 years yata na parang yes lang ako ng yes. Even if my heart, I was saying no. And it exploded right in front of my face. Like I got sick and I really didn't know where it's coming from. And then I went to several doctors, and the doctors tell me different things. And I went to an energy healer, who told me na parang, because your energy body is sick because you're not taking care of yourself, and also you're saying yes even if you mean no. So it's really important. Like I really can't stress that enough to really acknowledge your feelings. Because sometimes if you don't, what happens is you suppress it and suppress it and suppress it. Tapos saka lalabas yun. Saka lalabas yung depression, saka lalabas yung magkakasakit ka na lang because emotionally you don't feel well. It's not a big thing eh. Sometimes it's not something big happened to your life and that's why initially you got depressed. Sometimes it's the small things, the accumulation of small things. And then that happens. Like I told you, diba? Sometimes it's -1, -2. But if every day you have a lot of -1 and a lot of -2,
Yeah.
then we'll see what happens. So yeah, you're correct. It's acknowledging what you're feeling, acknowledging what you're thinking is very, very important before you shift to neutral or positivity.
Parang kumukulong kettle, no? The thought that comes to my mind is parang kumukulong kettle, onting init, napupuno.
Yeah, you need to acknowledge na kumukulo na.
Yeah.
Before na parang sumahabog pa or parang mag-leak na yung steam o yung water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff, you were talking about yoga earlier, and yoga is actually good because sometimes we don't have words for things, and sometimes the feeling gets lodged in parts of our body. In India, they
Mm.
call it chakra. You have a chakra system, and you have energy systems in your body. In Chinese, they call it meridians. And so, movement, aside from you have to express it, sometimes you just don't need to express it verbally. Sometimes release happens when you're moving. And so that's
Mm.
why yoga helps because it's not just physical movement. You call it somatic movement, which is mind body movement. You move with breath, you move with intention, and you move slowly. So, yoga, meditation, a lot of qigong, tai chi, a lot of somatic practices actually help with mindfulness when you're just focusing on the breath, focusing on the present.
Which reminds me that mental health is not just sa mind. It also involves the body, even spiritually. Na parang we're putting all of those factors together so that our mental health can be addressed holistically. So maybe speaking of doing mindfulness to ourselves, I wonder how can we apply this approach to our practice as occupational therapists?
Mm. Like what you said, about mindfulness is not just focusing on the mind. Actually, to make it simple, you have four kinds of body. You have a physical body, you have an emotional body. That's why it's nice that you guys had a topic on relationship and intimacy because that's part also. You have a mental body and you have a spiritual body. So you have to take care of all of this. Hindi lang pwedeng one part, not just mental, physical, emotional, um, mental and spiritual. And what happens is if you take care of yourself, automatically it's easy to take care of others because in occupational therapy we take care of our patients. It can be children, it can be adults, but we take care of somebody else. And for us to be good caretakers, we have to be able to take care of ourselves because how can you take care if you're not able also? How can you take care of others if you're not well as well. So it's very important to be physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually stable. Also, di ba, in therapy, we use ourselves a lot.
Yeah.
What will we use if ubos ka? What part of ourselves will you use if you're burned out? So it's very important that you're very stable, especially when you're dealing with patients who are physically and emotionally, mentally ill.
Mhm. Yeah, okay, it's very interesting, no? The physical body, the emotional body, no, the spiritual body, no? Parang we just have one, no, but all of it are actually, no, in us. And then through different approaches like mindfulness, parang we are able to target, no, those different bodies, no, in one. So which makes me wonder though, if there are certain um, areas, no, like for example, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, which of those you think are parang in your experience, yung parang medyo difficult or parang something that it's hard to explore, no, based on your practice of mindfulness.
It depends talaga per person. For me, I didn't start with physical body because I'm not, I wasn't interested in that. I started with the spiritual. Like I started with meditation first. But initially, the meditation moved me to take care of my physical body because I love to meditate. Initially it was hard for me to sit down for 1 minute. If I'm in an India and I'm on a retreat, I can sit down for 4 hours and just meditate. But for me to do that, I have to take care of my physical body. Kasi mangangawat ka, or you have to be like strong to be able to do that. So I got into yoga. But meditation was my turning point to move me towards yoga. And when I was in yoga, yoga taught me to take care of myself more. So it helped me with, I think, emotional, body, and then because I'm able to take care of myself more, I'm able to take care of others more. So emotional, it leads to relationship. So
Emotion.
in a way, you start with that area that you're so comfortable. And then like with me, I started with meditation, which is mental and spiritual. Tuhog na yun. Tapos nag-move ako to yoga, which is physical. And then allowed me to target emotional. The yoga allowed me to target the emotional body. So
Mhm.
start with an area that you're na mas pinakamadali sa'yo. And that kasi it's holistic eh. Like you said, Jeff, diba? It's all part of you. So what happens is, if you start opening yourself to the idea na, I think I have to take care of myself. You will start with one aspect and eventually you would learn na, I cannot just take care of one aspect of myself pala. I have to take care of other aspects of myself. And if you're so, going back to your question, how it affects you as an OT, and you're able to take care of yourself more and more and more, you're so stable na alam mo how to handle situations. Like I work with a lot of kids with ADHD, and really, if they're stressed, if they're very expressive before, and if they're angry before, they're angrier now. Like a lot of my kids with ADHD, talagang hyper. Um, it's not just their physical body that's hyperactive. Eh. Their mental, tsaka emotionally, ang taas, hindi rin sila makaregulate.
Yeah.
So, I was talking to this 11-year-old kid. We're having a simple debate, but the debate, it should be a friendly discussion na naging debate. Tapos hanggang ina-attack niya na ako. And we were in a class na this is a big class, there are 8 students plus me, and it's supposed to be a friendly discussion, but he was attacking. No, teacher, you weren't listening to me. You're always right. You're always taking the authority. Just because you're the teacher, we have to listen to you. And I really have a point. We're brainstorming, and I just want them to like throw out ideas and not attack each other's ideas, but she was trying to attack. And then when I told her not to discount anyone's idea, she was attacking me. But then, and usually, if when I see this, if this was before when I wasn't meditating, what I'll do is, I'm a teacher. I would like, excuse me, I'm the teacher. Can you please listen to me? That's usual. That's the usual my usual response. But since I'm meditating and I'm practicing mindfulness, what I sense, what I was made aware of, is at that moment that child is stressed. That child needs a space to express herself, to express her discomfort. And I think she's not stressed with me or with the class, but the class is a safe space for her to express her discomfort. That's my sense of the situation. And so I just allowed her to lash. And eventually it was her classmates who told her, "Excuse me, do you know who you're talking to? Do you know that you're shouting at teacher?" "Yeah, yeah, but you know, I'm not shouting. My voice is just loud. I'm not shouting." You know how they are. But then I just gave her that space because she needs that space to lash out, to release. And I know that emotionally she's kind of burdened. And when I talked to the mom, sure enough, the mom told me, "No, teacher, kasi I was sick this week and she was really expecting that we can go out this week because it's a special week. It's Halloween. It's Halloween week. She's expecting that we're going to go out. She's been locked down here in the house and I think she's projecting sa'yo." Sabi niya, "Sorry, teacher ha, napagalitan ka niya." But I was telling her, "You know what?" Sabi ko sa mom, "You know what? No, it's okay." Naging punching bag ka niya. Yun yung term ng mom. Sabi ko, "No, it's okay. I like it that she feels safe around me, that she can lash out in front of me because she feels safe that she can express herself around me. I appreciate it that she finds it safe to express herself in that class."
Siguro to add to that, Karen, no, napaisip ako na parang the therapist no, needs to be mindful then about what he or she is thinking or feeling about himself or herself then. And because I think some people would actually react no, when someone shouts at them. No, na parang si therapist din siguro, kailangan niya mag-mindfulness din. Na parang, oh, you're already feeling angry. And when you're angry, this is what you think. This is how you express it. So I think it's two-way. No, like you
Yes.
also do mindfulness to yourself and then you also try to teach mindfulness no, depending on what is comfortable siguro no,
You're
for the
correct.
child.
You're correct kasi people are always reacting.
Yeah.
People are always reacting to what somebody else is throwing. And people think it's about me. Excuse me, you're not respecting me. You're not shouting. Why are you shouting at me? If you're reactive, that's how you will react. But mindfulness puts you in a state of presence. I'm just here. I'm neutral. I'm not negative. I'm not positive. At this time, I just have to be neutral. And look at the situation. Look at the situation objectively. Like what Kik said at the start, just be aware of the situation. Sometimes kasi, wala ka na sa awareness, nasaktan ka na agad, nasaktan yung ego mo eh. Oh my gosh, sinigawan mo ako. Teacher kaya ako. Diba? Nag-react ka na agad. Mindfulness allows you to respond, not react. Go, just be aware. Just be aware of what's happening. Don't look at it personally. Don't take it personally. Hindi it's not about you, you know. She just has an issue. Even sometimes, 'di ba, yung mga tao around us na it happens to us that we're very active. Hindi lang tayo pinansin. Oh my gosh, hurt ka na. Pero pero hindi naman yun about you. Baka meron lang siya talaga iniisip, meron lang siya iniinda. Hindi dahil sa hindi kanya pinansin. It's really because it's she has an issue. It's not your issue.
Actually, no. Nung nakwento mo sa amin, yung start ng journey, no? You started with meditation and then you move into yoga. Tapos parang bit by bit from the spiritual, nag-move on to the physical, no? Nakita natin na ang na-observe ko, no, yung process of healing, okay? Itong pagiging aware sa sarili, no, it was really a process discovering. We start from where we're comfortable with, then we move on to things that we are less comfortable. And napansin ko, no, with what you've shared to us about yung kids, no, as share ko lang no, something about myself. I was studying on Miss Kim Barthel's work. She's an OT from Canada, and she's working on trauma-informed practice. And what I realized from what one of her talks was, na nakarelate po ako, is we have to start where the child is comfortable. We have to start where we are comfortable, because in that safe, comfortable, accepting space, doon mas nagiging connected ang child and even us with our emotions. Like how you started with the meditation, and parang yun ang nag-resonate sa aking idea eh. From what you've said, it was really wonderful na na-realize ko na you just had him lash out, na it's okay to be comfortable to have these big emotions. Kasi that gave him the safe space he needed to be aware of his emotions. Na, di ba, yun parang essence of mindfulness, being aware of what we feel, being aware of who we are, and from that, we can grow from it, di ba?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's really being aware of our emotion, being aware of who we are. Speaking of who we are, a lot of my friends from college will be so surprised that I'm talking in front of you guys. Will be so surprised that I'm doing special achievers, that I'm part of online healing community. Because back in college, I was so quiet. And because I look at myself as I am this provinciana who got in UP. And I was just thinking, that's my thought pattern. I'm this provinciana from this little town in Mindoro who doesn't know anything, who just got into UP. And I'm with friends who are from CSA or from this big universities, and they're all here. And I was thinking at my life back then to my life back now. And I was like, I made myself so little and so invisible back then because that was my thought pattern. I'm this small provinciana. And so I didn't speak up. I'm not doing any project. You would not notice me at all when I was in college. And then I was looking at my life now and I was thinking, oh my gosh, that small thinking affected me so much that I didn't explore. I didn't do anything good with my life back then. I didn't do anything meaningful, at least meaningful for me. And then I look at myself now and was thinking, how come I'm doing all these things? Like, how come I can do events like this? How come I can organize like this? How come I can do initiatives? And you know what? It's the small thing. Because I understand that I am more. I understand my capabilities. Like, very, very simple lang. That I am peaceful. I am positive. It starts with that talaga. I start with I am peaceful. And then I have an issue with self-esteem. So for 8 years, doon lang ako sa I am peaceful, I am peaceful, I am peaceful because it takes a
Mm.
while to get there. And then when I look at that, speaking of thoughts and where you are, when I look at that, I realized that after years of introspection, I understood that, oh my gosh, my limiting belief pattern is that I am not worthy. It comes up all the time. When I'm in college with all these bright people, I am not worthy. When I'm second honors, I'm not worthy. When I'm salutatorium, I'm not worthy. Oh my gosh, in my life, I always come in second. And I always tell myself, I am not worthy. And so for a long time, I've been living an I am not worthy life. And then when I got into mindfulness and meditation, slowly, slowly talaga, it's not so easy. I understood na, okay, I am worthy. I am peaceful. I started with that for a long time. And then I am worthy. And then I moved on. But these are affirmations that I tell myself when I'm drinking, like what Jeff said. Do it when you're not just sitting. I do it in the morning when I wake up, in the evening, and then also when I'm drinking before meetings, when I'm on commute, when I'm riding, all the time I am worthy. Nag-move siya to I am brave, to I am strong, to I am courageous, and then to I love myself. And you know what? When I got there, when I kind of fully under, because you say it, right? You say it, but it doesn't sometimes hit you. But after years of saying that to myself, then it hit me, parang, oh my gosh, I am worthy. So I can do whatever I want to do. And that's when things moved forward talaga for me, even for my career, even for the projects that I'm holding. So when you ask about how does it impact your life, how does it impact you as an OT, It's not just OT, eh. It impacts your whole life when you believe, when you really know who you are. And Kicks talk about that. When you know who you are
Yeah.
and we know where you're coming from, that changes you. That changes you. That changes your life. That changes your interaction with people.
Wow.
Very, ano na, parang medyo na,
Sure.
na speechless ako with that. No? I think, parang sometimes at some points of our life, parang we get to also reflect of who we are, what we think about ourselves, how we feel. No, I'm glad, Karen, that you reach yung point na parang you reflected about yourself, and from being that person coming from the province, you are now the person that you have become. No? And so I hope that our viewers then are also learning from this episode about mindfulness. No? I think Kix has something to say.
Actually, no, na from your talk, from having that poor self-esteem, having that lack of self-worth, talagang the word that came to my mind, it's a process, no? It takes real patience. It takes real understanding. And with mindfulness, being slowly aware, kung saan tayo comfortable, and then moving from that state of comfort to going to the uncomfortable, no? I think what came to my mind then with this mindfulness is having that emotional support from people around us, no? Which gave us that, like how you, ang galing nga, nung you just gave your kid a safe space to lash out, di ba? So ako, reflecting, if I was that kid, I would need somebody to support me para ako mas maging aware of myself. And that's what came to my mind. So Karen, how does that environment of how does that environment help how does a safe supporting environment help in being more mindful about yourself?
Um, are you asking how does the safe environment help people, help your kids?
How
I was
kids,
thinking, yeah,
us, mindfulness, yeah.
if you look at my, well, medyo mayabang ako sa mga kids ko. Behind me is a painting of Diego Villavicencio. He's not my kid. He's one of our artists at Special Achievers, and this is worth 20,000 pesos. That
Wow.
painting, and it's going to be auctioned November 28th, so it's going to be worth more. But what happens is when you give your kid space, well, he's an artist, but what happens if you give yourself that opportunity to find yourself? What happens is you also give others opportunity to find themselves. Eh? When I found myself, um, I'm not, when I figured out na, oh no, I'm not this small provinciana from the province. I am someone who can make things happen. I realize I'm worthy. I realize I love organizing stuff and I love helping people. When I realized that about myself, that's when I started reaching out to other people. And the first people, of course, that I would reach out to are my patients or the patients of other people in the community. And and when I'm able to see my goodness, it's easy for me to spot the goodness in others. It started with the art. I can spot I can spot talent and I can promote, and then eventually because I can spot talent, we're able to promote talent.
Wow.
So that's how it is really. Start with yourself, and what happens is something inside of you will bloom and blossom, and when that part of you bloomed and blossom, you will instantaneously rin help other people, not just your
Yeah.
kids, everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's nice to hear, Karen. No? And for our viewers, if you have any questions to our speaker, you may send a direct message to our questions crew, and we'll have a dedicated time to ask some of your questions. Okay.
Yes.
So continuing with the episode, so Karen, I think one of the things that our audience would like to learn about mindfulness is the things that we can actually do, the specific things
Right,
or
right, right,
techniques. So
right,
can
right.
you teach us how to do some techniques related to
Okay.
mindfulness?
The first thing is you have to relax first. The first thing is body. I'll just give you three very simple things to do, okay, in terms of how to meditate. The first one is you have to relax your body. So usually your shoulders are kind of tight. So roll your shoulders up and down, or roll it back just to relax your shoulders. Uncurl your eyebrows, because sometimes palagi nakakunot. Relax your eyebrows, relax your jaw, sit upright just so you're comfortable. And also, like I told you, diba, the chakra system in India, they talk about chakra system, and it's located in your spinal cord. So you want it to be aligned. That's why you need to sit up straight, and then put your feet on the ground just so you're comfortable. You can open your hands, because when you meditate, you want to receive, right? So what you want receive energy. So you want to do is you open your hands, put it on your lap, and then that's the first thing. Relax your body. And the next thing is we'll try it with Anne and Gabriel.
Yeah, let's
I'll
invite our actors on
to do
screen.
it. Because what we want to do is we want to focus. So that's the first thing. So let's do the focus first for 2 minutes. So what the next part is breath. So I want you to just focus on the breath. I'll ask you to breathe in for 4 counts. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, and then breathe out. And breathe out pala for 4 breaths out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, you breathe in for 2 counts, hold, and breathe out for 4 counts. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So breathe in. So that's what we're going to do. But we'll do it for 2 minutes. So to help lessen the distraction, just you can close your eyes, or pwedeng half close lang. Parang gentle eyes. Just so you don't sleep. Because sometimes you're so relaxed you sleep. So half close lang. And then for the next 2 minutes, I'll put a timer. We'll just focus on the breathing, okay? So make sure your body's relaxed, feet on the floor, shoulders relaxed, face relaxed, and then put your hands on your lap, open your hands. And when you're ready, you can gently close your eyes, half close. And let's start just deep breathing. Breathe in for 2 counts. 1, 2. Hold and breathe out. 4, 3, 2, 1. Again. Breathe in. 1, 2. Hold. Release. 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. 2 counts. Hold. Release. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And for the next 2 minutes, just continue this breathing pattern. Breathe deeply. And just focus on the breath going in and out of your nose. Just focus on the breath. Breathe in deeply and breathe out completely. Last 40 seconds. Focus on your breath coming in and out of your nose. Focus on the breathing. Now, slowly and gently, go back to your normal breathing, but still keep your eyes closed. Just breathe normally. Go back to your normal breath. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Whew, wow.
Okay. So that's just breathing. We'll do one more exercise. But how was that for you? Were you able to focus? sometimes, but ako, the first time I did that, I didn't last 1 minute because my mind is hyperactive. I couldn't like stay still for a minute. Were there other thoughts coming to your head, or were you just focusing on the breathing?
Well, for me personally, I try as much as possible to focus on the breathing,
Yeah.
but there are other things coming in. So as much as possible, I want lang talaga the breathing. But
Uh-uh.
yun, I still acknowledge. Parang I think
Yeah.
the important part there was I acknowledge that there are other things around, but I just need to focus on this one, which is breathing.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you for being honest, Jeff. And that's real kasi marami talaga, our mind is kasi used to thinking of a lot of things. And they're really distractions. So what you do is, what you're right, Jeff, just acknowledge and let it pass, like passing clouds, and then just go back, just refocus. So that's correct. How about the others? And it's normal to actually have other thoughts. Just push it gently away.
For me po, it's about the environmental distraction because my dog was barking a while ago, even now. And then what I did was, okay, my dog is barking. So I think what's helpful a while ago was that you were counting also with us, Ma'am Karen. So I tried to focus on your counting and then slowly with how I breathe. So that somehow redirected me to what we are doing. So the deep breathing. So, yun po.
Thank you, Anne. How about the others? How was your experience? Pero that was just 2 minutes, ha? Can you imagine? 2 minutes of being still, and sometimes it's not so easy to just be still for 2 minutes. So what we'll do? So the next part is, so we'll just continue the breathing. But what happens is, but do you feel anything during the 2 minutes? Yeah, sometimes there are distractions, but how did you feel, pala?
Yes, Gabby. Nakita kita. Yan. Si Elle or Gabby? Gabrielle?
Gabriel po.
Gabriel.
Gabriel.
Opo. For me, it was kind of hard during the first minute because I could feel myself twitch, or like I was twiddling my thumbs, and then it was difficult to focus. Pero it was very helpful that you were able to guide us with the counting, especially, and the constant reminders of be mindful of your breath. Remember to deep breathly, because I think without that, or like without help, I wouldn't have been able to complete the 2 minutes. But it was very refreshing by the end of it.
Out there. Thank you, Gabriel. So there. Yeah, it's kind of difficult because we're retraining our minds. Like we're exposed to a lot of social media, we're exposed to a lot of media, and usually, diba, ang bilis-bilis. The information is so fast. And this time, we're slowing down, very, very slow. So it's challenging at the start. Pero like you said, Gabriel, it's really like that. But if you persist and go through it, then you'll find it refreshing. This time, what we'll do is we'll start with, again, we'll relax the body. So we'll just focus on the basic. So you can do it at home. Again, we'll have to relax our body. We'll focus on the breath. And the next thing is, I will guide you in terms of meditation. But I want it to be an experience now. Even if I'm not there, you can do it. So we can start with all of the meditation practices usually start with peace, because peace is the mother of all virtues. And in the meditation school that I go to, we start with Om Shanti, which means Om means I am, and Shanti means peace. So we go back to who you really are. Like Kix was telling us that you have to go back to who you really are. And sometimes we forget that we are peaceful. Even in meditation now, we go as far as saying, I am peace. It's not like I have it. It's not I have it. It's I am that. I am peace. So I was thinking, we'll start with peace. And what I'll do, because your mind's kind of not used to just staying still, what we'll start with is I'll give you questions because our minds are used to asking questions, thinking. So we'll let our minds think first. What is peace for you? What's your symbol for peace? If it's a place, what does it look like? And then I'll give you space to go there, stay there in that place. And then, so it's more of thought first. I'll give you positive thoughts. Like we said, diba? Positive thoughts. And then after that, what happens is if you stay there long enough, sometimes it goes down to your heart, and it becomes feeling, and you don't want it to go there. And let's see if you can stay in that feeling. But even if you can just like focus on it and just think about what it is for you, then that's fine, as long as you can focus. And again, like what Jeff said, sometimes there are distractions, which is normal. So just imagine it like passing clouds. Don't focus too much on the distractions, let it pass, acknowledge it, and then just go back to the meditation. But this is just going to be short, probably like 5 or 6 minutes lang. So again, let's prepare. So very important to prepare your body for meditation. Don't just like meditate. So relax your body again, straight, sit up straight, relax your shoulders, relax your face, open your hands, put it on top of your palm. But if you have a meditation practice, some people kasi use the gasha pose, some people use this, they have the hand gestures that they use. If you use that, that's fine. It helps with attention, some of the poses, but it's not time to go there at the point. But just use any hand gesture that you're comfortable with. If it's open hand for those of you who are beginners. And then let's just start with a breath. Breathe in slowly and breathe out completely. Let's go back to deep breathing. Breathe in for 2 counts. Hold and release. 4, 3, 2. Again, breathe in. 1, 2, hold. Exhale. 4, 3, 2. Again, breathe in. Hold very gently. Breathe out. And on your own, do this deep breathing. Breathe in for 2 counts. Hold. And breathe out for 4 counts. Just focus on your breath. You can keep your eyes half closed if it helps it focus. Imagine the breath going in and out of your nose. Very gently, very slowly. And when you're ready, you can go back to your normal breathing. So breathe in and out for 1 time. Just relax breathing. And let's just be present. Let's just take this time for ourselves. I want you to repeat the words that I'm saying quietly in your head. I'm empty. I am peace. I am peace. What does peace look like for you? If it's a place, where is it? Or if it's a symbol, what's your symbol for peace? And I invite you to go to this symbol or to this place of peace for you. In your mind's eye, you can travel. In your mind's eye, you can explore and go to this place of peace. And just be there. Just bask in the stillness. bask in the calm. Just be here. Be in this peaceful place. What do you see? Who are for the people with you? Where are you? Make the image very clear in your mind. And you can even enlarge some parts. You can enlarge some portions. Now you can go to the feeling. What does it feel like? What does it feel like to be in this space of peace? Just focus on the feeling. If there are thoughts in your head, that's fine. Just go back to this space of peace. Just enjoy being here. When you get to the feeling, what does this feel like? And imagine this feeling covering the whole of your being, from your heart to the top of your head to the tip of your toes. And just bask in this feeling of peace, feeling of calm. And just hold it. Like to remember, this is who you are. You are peace. And imagine yourself bringing this peace with you when you go back to the clinics, when you see your patients for face-to-face sessions. Imagine bringing this peace with you when you see your patients for teletherapy. Can you imagine bringing this peace with you when you meet your family? Can you imagine what does that look like? Imagine bringing this peace with you when you interact with your friends. So remember, you are this peace, and you can always bring this peace wherever you go. Tell yourself, I am peace. I am calm. I am soothing. So prepare yourself to go back in the room. When you're ready, so slowly wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. You can open your eyes if you're ready. Saan kayo napunta? Where did you go? And how was that for you?
I guess the thing that came to my mind when you spoke the word peace was it's like I felt like I was lying down on a, parang grassy field. Tapos, yung moon and the stars. Like, naalala ko, I was back in UST. Kasi the Martian. Yan. Nahiga lang ako, tapos nakatingin ako sa stars up in the sky, and it just felt very vivid. Kumbaga, yung thoughts ko medyo, may mga thoughts ako na came, but they went, and the experience was, na-feel ko yung katawan ko parang nag-lax or like, jelly ace, ganun. I don't know if ako na nakaramdam ng, pero wow, that was an incredible feeling. How about you, Sir Jeff?
You were able to relax. Galing. That was great, Kicks.
Ako naman, parang at first, walang image na lumalabas until marinig ko si Karen, no, saying na parang ano yung nakikita, no, parang eventually parang nagkaroon ng something. Like I imagined myself, parang I was surrounded by sand, no, and when she asked to feel, to touch, parang get the feeling of the surrounding. Parang tinouch ko siya, sabi ko parang mainit to, pero parang pagka-touch ko nun, hindi naman. No? And parang it just feels, ano ba, parang naalala ko din yung beach. No? Na parang, nakaka-stimulate ng sensory, natin, yung touch, no? No, kapag hinahawakan yung buhangin, no? But yun, I think it's comforting, no? While doing the exercise.
Yes.
Thank you. That's good that you're able to experience that, Jeff. And you're able to go to the beach with your mind.
Yeah.
Mine naman po was, I was like floating po sa sea. Because I do that whenever I sleep po, kasi like if I would think a lot of stuff, tapos I would just imagine myself like floating. Tapos with your guided, like the instructions, I kind of felt like the waters sa hands ko po, like pushing myself and then closing my eyes, parang nasa silence po yung thoughts. So I feel lighter po after that one po.
Wait, nasa beach din si Anne. Pero nagsiswimming siya, Jeff. Wala siya sa sand. Nandun siya sa ano mismo. Gabriel?
My image was a garden. So usually I also practice meditation, although not as long as possible. Pero usually I can imagine myself in a garden. I imagine the flowers, the different colors that I can see, the soil, the different pots, parang like that.
Ay, wow, garden for Gabriel. And how does it feel like?
It's very calm and very quiet. So I'm usually just left with my own thoughts.
Yeah. And that's usually what happens. I've been teaching meditation for as many, around 8 to 9 years already. And what I notice is people relate values to symbols, and usually symbols in nature. Because nature reflects to us who we are. Like Kix was saying, who you really are, diba? What's your truth? So nature reflects that to us. So what you see and where you went, when you went to yung beach or yung stars, it's a reflection of you. Yeah. And I love that you guys were able to connect. That was 8 minutes. Kala ko nga, nag-off na kasi yung clock ko earlier. Kasi sabi ko,
Really?
siguro mga 5 minutes. 8 minutes.
Parang
8
hindi siya
minutes.
8 minutes.
19 seconds. Actually, nag-alarm na ako. Sabi ko, oh my gosh! Sabi ko kasi 5 minutes, baka ma-distract sila. Pero, you guys are still focused. Sabi ko, sige, let's go. Let's move it forward.
Wow.
Honestly, I really enjoyed it. Tapos 8 minutes na pala yun. Akala ko wala pa ng 5 minutes.
That was it. I moved it down to like 5 lang. Pero you guys were able to like stay there. So sabi ko, oh, sige, let's continue this. So it's lang, diba? It's not so easy. It's just that you have to do it daily. Like with yoga, if you do it once a week or once a month, makikita mo ba yung effect nun? I don't think.
Exactly.
Even if you exercise once a month, parang may effect ba yun? Or ganito na lang. therapy once a month. What do you think is the effect of that? Diba?
Yeah,
But you'd go
good
for
point.
frequency and consistency. So the point is to do it regularly.
Wow.
Yeah, I think we have enough time no, for one question from the audience. So maybe they also tried doing it and maybe they have some questions in mind. So for the interest of time, we'll accommodate one question from the audience. So here's the question for you, Karen. So how or when do you know if you're already in a state of acknowledging your thoughts?
Oh.
That's a good question. Well, kasi sometimes we're in a state of denial, no? Like, ako, I really have difficulty identifying my feelings. Because it's easier for me to numb it out because I always like to be calm and peaceful. So if I have a negative feeling, no, I don't feel like that. Talagang sinusuppress ko siya. It's automatic for me. So the people, because I'm friends with a lot of people in the field of wellness and well-being, what they tell me, if you can't acknowledge your feeling, you can start by checking your body. What part of your body is constricted? And in Chinese medicine, and even in Hindi, in India, sa chakra system nila, merong corresponding part yan. Like if your heart, if this part of the heart, so sometimes, or shoulders usually, it's connected to the heart. So most of the time, you're stressed. A lot of people, masakit ang ulo kasi it's connected to the decision or planning. Probably you're worrying a lot. Some people, kidney, so that's related to anger. So if it's hard for you to actually for me it's hard to identify feelings, so I started with checking my body, where's the constriction, and then there's a specific, you can check with Chinese medicine what a certain body part tells you, or with chakra system what this body part tells you. But if it's thoughts, what helps me is journaling. Kasi 'di ba, ang dami mong thoughts eh, like 50,000 thoughts. How do you monitor that? It's kind of hard to monitor that many. Imagine 50,000 students. 40 students nga, hirap ka na pasyente, di ba? Lalo na the interns, if they give you more than 2 patients, di ba, hirap na kayo. It's not so easy. So imagine monitoring 50 thoughts coming. That's a lot of thoughts. So what helped me is journaling, so I can see my thoughts. And then what it does, it looks at thought patterns. So every day makikita mo what you wrote, and then you can see, oh, so these are my thought patterns. So journaling helps at the end of the day. And then if you can start your day with a meditation. Kasi 5 minutes kaya eh. Or like kahit na 2 minutes lang. 2 minutes lang, you can actually do that. If you can start your day with a prayer, if it helps you, or meditation, to just like ground you. Because like Anne said, it's refreshing. Kick said he felt like a jelly ace after. He was so relaxed, he felt like a jelly ace. So go back to giving yourself time and space for stillness, so you can monitor.
Wow. That was incredible. Like at the start of the session, we just got to know about mindfulness, and right now we're practicing it. Naka-try na kami ng iba't ibang techniques and how to apply it in everyday life. Like journaling, yeah, I think that's a very good idea. Like ako personally, no, whenever I have this bright idea or whenever I have this sad thought, it helps for me to put down what I feel para at least, it releases the tension. At the same time, if, I'm not feeling okay and I remember na, nga pala may journal ako and I have this amazing thought, babasahin ko na lang, it makes me feel okay. Parang na-associate natin yung journaling to healing or better thoughts. Kaya kapag nabasa, it kind of resets how we feel back to that to that state of tolerance or being okay. And with that in mind, no, ang daming things pa na I believe namin na pwede pang ma-learn. So, Miss Karen, how can we learn more about mindfulness?
Actually, we have a partnership with PAOT. So every Thursday at Online Healing Community, we have free workshops for everyone about mindfulness. So for this Thursday, it's the healing power of the voice. So you can register for that sa Bayanihan portal. Also, can I share? We have an event because at
Yes.
Online Healing Community, what we see is that a lot of people talaga need support. So like sabi niyo nga, iba yung, grabe yung 2020. So what we thought of is bring together 30 healers, teachers, experts in health and wellness, business, arts, sports, science, community development, and spirituality. We're bringing them together and we're going to create space not just for thinking. Kasi sanay na yung mga tao with for thinking. Eh. We'll have space for expressing ourselves artistically. We have space for sharing. We have space for feeling. And then there's space for coming together. And we invited really key people and experts to help me. Like Father J. Orbas will be there. I hope you know him. Nicanor Perlas is a Right Livelihood Awardee, which is an alternative to Nobel Peace Prize. He's a scientist. Annie De Leon Brown is coach, Philippine triathlon coach, who's also into pranic healing. Mimok Per is a coach who's known. He's actually the executive director of Kapuso Foundation for a long time. Edward Reformina is into business. And Chris Lawrence is a singer-songwriter who's also into wellness. And many other people in the fields of yoga and meditation and healing that can help you. So that's going to happen December 3 to 6. It's a free event. I'll send to out the contact details so you guys can register for that. And then, of course, the Thursdays. Every Thursday, you have workshops for everybody.
Sa online healing community. Tama po ba?
Yes.
Yan.
Thank you.
Yeah, we hope to see the members attend that. No? Ako rin, mag-register siguro ko dun sa ibang magiging episodes every Thursday, right? Tama ka rin, no? Every
Yeah, that's
Thursday.
every Thursday, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Ako, I believe, pwede kong, we can share this with other people, right? I believe I want to share it to, yung mga parents na hinahandle ko, like, di ba, sa mga kids with special needs, they have parents, and I believe they're incredibly stressed ngayong pandemic period. So, I believe it's a good opportunity for them para maging mindful din at matulungan din ang kids nila. Okay ba yun, Miss Karen?
Yeah, but we're really, really excited for this December 3 to 6. Kasi usually, we see a lot of summits na may nagsasalita lang. But for me talaga, I go for experiential learning. That sometimes you don't have time to practice what you learn. So a lot of the speakers there we'll start with yoga. All of the sessions will start at 4 o'clock to 5 p.m. At 4 to 5, there's just yoga because it helps you with release and helps you ground. And then we'll have an opening ritual. So you have meditation, so you're ready. And only after that, we'll have talks, conversations, workshops. Pero meron ka ng experience at the start. You're grounded. So it's easy for you to assimilate and to actually listen and learn more about mindfulness and wellness. And we'll have a lot of workshops kasi yun talaga yung goal for it to be experiential na at the moment, like hindi lang tayo nag-usap, diba, in this session. You actually tried mindfulness and that's what we're going to give you. We'll give you an experience. So hopefully we can see you December 3, 4, 5, 6. That's very soon na. Actually in a week. And we have really experts in mental health and wellness for that event.
Nakatuwa nga yung parang mga bigati ng natin, speakers. No?
Exciting.
Yeah. So siguro lang, just for some insights about the episode this afternoon. I actually appreciate that mindfulness can really be one of our tools to actually take care of our mental health. And I really like the part wherein we discuss about how being in the present, how acknowledging our feelings, our thoughts can actually shape who we are and how we respond to the difficult situations. Even not difficult din pala, the way we live. I think what we feel, what we think is affected by those things. And so being mindful could really help us be more functional, be more in terms of dealing with challenges. And I think if we continue doing this, so it was mentioned a while ago that we need some consistency then. So
Yeah.
I think in the long run, it would help us have a better mental health. So that's my take in this episode. How about you, Kicks? Do you still have some other insights about this episode?
My take for this episode is, di ba, based from yung nakwentong experience, personal story ni Miss Karen, what I got from the story, yes, story talaga, no? What I got from the experience is mindfulness can certainly help for us to be able to be okay, for us to be functional, di ba nga? And that at the same time, because if we are regulated, di ba, yung term natin sa OT, if we feel regulated, we become more capable of regulating yung mga patients in need natin, yung mga parents na kausap natin, yung mga work na hinahandle natin. You know, when we build that foundation sa ating sarili, we feel that when we fill our needs, self-esteem, self-worth, yung nabanggit nga ni Ms. Karen, no? We become more capable. We become more than what we're capable of doing at the moment. So, wow, thank you for that, Karen. That was a really wonderful talk.
Yeah. And do you
Thank
have
you for
any
having
parting
me.
words? Yeah, for our viewers.
Yeah, thank you, Paol, for this invitation. I really like to teach meditation. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. And also, I hope you practice it. Like all the time, I hear people telling me and friends telling me, they look at the phone first thing in the morning and they look at the phone before they sleep. If you can look at yourself, it's an invitation to look at yourself. Give yourself 2 minutes when you wake up, just 2 minutes to just breathe and think of yourself, think of who you really are. And you can start with peace. And at the end of the day, if you can just go back, give yourself 2 minutes and think of what you're grateful for. That would really help us a lot. And that will really help you a lot. Give yourself 2 minutes at the start of the day and 2 minutes at the end of the day.
Giving ourselves time. Yeah, that would
Yeah.
certainly help a lot. Thank you for that, Miss Karen. So, once again, thank you to our wonderful resource speaker for sharing with us her valuable knowledge and expertise. So, and thank you then to all our attendees and viewers as well in today's OTalakayan interview program, episode 3 of the Mental Health series. Our next two episodes will be this Friday and the upcoming Monday. Our fourth episode is about coping with financial stress. Ayan. So, ang speakers natin for our session will be Miss Vanessa Tan Ibanez and as well as Miss Diane Alison Lotho. Ayan. So, don't
And
forget to register.
next week naman, Monday, our episode 5. So we'll talk about encouraging occupational therapists to engage in mental health practice. So our speakers on Monday would be Teresita C. Mendoza, Fellow of PAOT, Sir Jerry Prieto of UPPGH, and Sir Andy Gabriel of National Center for Mental Health. So we hope to see you on those episodes.
Wow.
And
And
so once again, thank you very much for attending our OTalakayan episode. We hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.
And please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the official Papaot YouTube page and Facebook page for more details and updates. So see you soon, everybody. Bye!